Hello and welcome back to Life of Soph, and my hair is really flicky today. So as the title suggests, today I'm going to be talking to you about my recent trip to Gran Canaria and specifically Puerto Rico. This is going to be a little bit different to the previous travel videos that I've done, so this is kind of going to be more of a short overview. The reason for that being that this holiday was intended to be kind of a relaxing holiday. The reason that my partner and I went is because we both had some annual leave to use up from work before the end of the holiday year, and also we'd both had a very stressful couple of months at the start of this year, and so we both just needed some time to get away and just relax. So for that reason you'll see that we didn't do heaps, and also I didn't really film very much. So I'm going to put up the clips of what I did film, but ultimately I'm just going to be telling you a little bit about what we did, where we stayed, and what I would suggest for you if you are thinking about going to Puerto Rico. And if this is your first time visiting, then hello and welcome to Life of Soph. I am, of course, Soph, and I do shopping, travel, Disney videos about all the kinds of things that I love. So if you are interested, then make sure you press subscribe to see what's coming next. While we were there, we stayed at a hotel called Servatur Casablanca, and we found out when we were there that Servatur seems to be a bit of a chain of hotels over there. So we stayed at the Casablanca one specifically, which is a 4-star hotel, adults only. We went for a week in kind of mid to late February, and it was a package holiday booked with Jet2. This was my first time going on holiday with Jet2, either kind of as a package or just flights. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I thought of them. The reason that we went with Jet2 is because my grandmother raved about them the last time that she flew with them. And also we went on a package holiday with TUI last year, and the holiday was fine, but I was not impressed with their customer service in regard to the flights specifically. So I didn't really want to book with TUI again, so I thought let's try Jet2. We got a pretty good price and it was pretty easy to book. Obviously with the budget airlines it takes like 3 pages of do you want this extra, do you want that extra before you actually get to check out. My partner and I didn't pay for seats together, so we were together on the way out and then we were kind of opposite sides of the aisle on the way back, which was absolutely fine. I don't think either of us were that bothered, to be honest. I thought their communication in the lead up to the holiday and while we were away was actually pretty good. There was mention of there being a rep, but there was no communication about there being a rep in the hotel or anything like that. I don't know if it was just generic communication that we got or if we missed something, but we didn't see a rep while we were there. In terms of the flight, the plane was fine, it was nice and clean, the seats were comfy, and I thought the pitch size was pretty decent for a budget airline. Ultimately I would go away with Jet2 again, so I suppose that says all that can be said. In terms of what we did while we were there, it was a lot of kind of just hanging about and wandering, which was just what we needed. So as I said, that's why I haven't kind of vlogged it or done any kind of more in-depth video. On the first day we walked down to the harbour and then we walked along the coastline to Playa Amadores, which is this huge beach with loads of shops and restaurants and all kinds of stuff there. So that was pretty cool to see. We actually carried on past it and ended up on this beach where the sand was like black, so it was obviously like volcanic or something, which was pretty cool, although you had to clamber over rocks to get there, so that was not ideal. We were also probably like a 5-minute walk up from a whole, what they call the shopping centre. It's literally, in English, it's called a shopping centre. And that is full of restaurants and bars and shops and all kinds of things, which is really geared towards English tourists. So that was really convenient for meals. And actually, because of that, we only booked to have breakfast at the hotel. We didn't go half board or anything like that because there were so many options nearby. The only thing I would say about that is that it was very English. And personally when I go away, I don't necessarily want people to try and emulate English people and stuff. It was a bit of a weird one, but it was nice to have that so close. In terms of kind of day trips, we got the local bus to Maspalomas and again just kind of wandered around, had a couple of drinks. Didn't really do anything in particular, popped into some shops. And then another day we got the bus to Aqualand, which is also just outside of Maspalomas. The thing that I wanted to mention about the bus to Aqualand is that there's only a certain number of buses there in the mornings, and then they don't come back until like 3:30 or something ridiculous like that. So we'd got there at like, I don't know, 11 in the morning, and we're not going to stay there for 4 hours. So in the end we did have to get a taxi back, and the taxi driver didn't speak much English. Fortunately, I speak enough Spanish to be able to get us back to Puerto Rico, but that's just something to bear in mind, is that if you are getting the bus there, you're either going to have to wait to get the bus back or you're going to have to get a taxi. There were a couple of taxis kind of hanging around outside, so I gather they probably show up there reasonably regularly. And then just to talk about the hotel a little bit, so as I said, it was Servatur Casablanca, which is kind of higher up and a little bit further out of it, but that was quite nice because it meant it was a little bit quieter. And by the way, when I say further up, it's because Gran Canaria is literally like a mountain, so everything is on like different levels and stuff. When we were looking at booking the hotel, I actually paid a little bit extra for us to have a whirlpool bath on the balcony. I thought it was a jacuzzi, but when we got there it was empty, so it's literally like having a bathtub on the balcony, but it also has jets. It really wasn't that much extra. I can't remember how much it was, maybe like £50 for the whole week or something, which is obviously like less than £10 a night. So I would definitely recommend doing that if you can, because quite often we would go out in the mornings, come back and then get in the balcony bath for an hour or so in the afternoons and just kind of chill out and read our books or whatever, so that was really lovely. The room itself was huge. I think it's probably the biggest hotel room I have ever stayed in living memory, and we actually went to a 5-star adults only hotel in Paphos in Cyprus last year, and I think this room was bigger than that. It had a little kitchenette, so there was a microwave and a little sink and plates and cutlery and stuff, and a little fridge, which was really useful, though we didn't really use it. The only time I think we used the microwave was to heat up my leftovers on the last day because I had leftovers from dinner the night before. The bathroom as well was huge, and overall I would say the room was pretty clean, pretty good. Could probably do with a little bit of TLC, but nothing significant. I think the only thing that I need to mention is that I was allergic to something in that bed because I had such a scratchy throat, and then I would just start to feel better throughout the day, and then I would get back into the bed, it'd be tickly and I'd be coughing, and I've got no idea what it was. My partner was absolutely fine, but I don't know whether it was like the washing powder that they use or something, but yeah, so that was really uncomfortable. The bed itself was really comfortable, but it was just that I was obviously horrendously allergic to something. Also, I have to mention the rooftop terrace. When we went, there was only one other like couple there, so we had the whole thing to ourselves, and it was just, you'll see the view in the video I'm going to put up. It was just beautiful, so serene, but it was a little bit chilly. That was the only thing. As I said, we had breakfast included, so we ate breakfast there every day, and it was a buffet style, so there was hot food, all the traditional kind of full English stuff, so sausages, bacon, hash browns, eggs. I think there were pancakes as well, but I didn't have any pancakes. They also had deli meats and cheeses, which is, you know, European. And then they had teas, coffees, juices, cereals, various breads and toasters. So you could have pretty much anything you wanted, and I rated the breakfast. I thought it was pretty good. The only thing I didn't like was that the bacon was kind of like syrupy, and I'm very much like a crispy bacon kind of girl, and don't really like sweet and savoury together, so I wasn't really that fussed on the bacon, but generally I would say it was pretty good. So overall, it was a really lovely week to have just kind of away from everything and not having to think about work, frankly. Have a little bit of time in the sun, albeit it wasn't quite hot enough for me. I was a little bit chilly at times. Being an island, it was a bit breezy, and I feel the cold really badly when it's even a little bit of breeze, so that didn't help. While we were there, I think the temperature was around the low 20s, which for me, my ideal temperature is 25, so it was a little bit too low for me, so I was a little bit chilly at times. But overall, it was just lovely to have a break, lovely to have the bath on the balcony, and just to kind of mooch around for a bit and yeah, just have a little bit of time to de-stress. So that was my trip to Gran Canaria, and if you want to see a little bit about my trip to Thailand last year, then you can click here. And if you are interested in seeing my upcoming videos about my trip to Orlando, which is coming up very, very quickly, then make sure you hit subscribe so that you can see everything that we get up to in Orlando. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!